CEO of Manilapreneur Corporation, founder of Junipreneur Organization, and event director of Craft Beer Association of the Philippines. She finds wonder in overcoming roadblocks in the events industry, fangirling over High and Bin, and spending time with her beautiful family. Whether on duty or not, Cherry continuously embodies the qualities of a driven and determined individual.
Welcome to another episode of In Love With Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who will share their amazing stories. And as you can see, guys, we have a beautiful woman that I will be talking to today. And I love her so much because she has been a great inspiration in my life. And before we hear what she has to say, let me introduce her first to you all. So without further ado, let me share with you guys Cherry Saculo-Genato. Hi, Cherry.
Hello. I love you too.
How have you been, Cherry?
Oh, of course, just like everyone else during this lockdown, this quarantine period, we are all doing all our work from home, trying to go by the day as, you know, whatever it is that we can do. And actually, at the beginning, for me, it was more of a chance for me to catch up and work, get the much needed rest. But as it get longer, you get bored and you start thinking what is going to happen next, or how are you supposed to make your days more worth.
Before you say more of what you've been doing this time, please share first, because to me you're such an empowered woman. Share with everyone here who's listening on how you became the strong-willed woman that you are today.
Okay. Well, when we say empowered women, in my own right, I may probably say that it's because of my profession. Since I'm in the events industry, there are so many there are so many people I meet, and there are different kinds of community that I get myself involved with. It all started with I think the very reason is because of my personality, being an introvert. Being an introvert makes my job, or makes the profession I choose to be a lot easier. Like, for instance, way back when, straight from school, I actually was a model and a host. So with those opportunity, or with those events that I'm able to join, it's easy for me to meet people, and it's very easy. Meeting people is where you widen up your network, and you start having friends. It's like in our case, we met through an event, and then after seeing each other for many times, and then eventually we're sure from there. And
almost 20 years.
Oh, that was a tweetums day pa. Social media was not the thing yet. There were no digital cameras during that time, and so I too bad we cannot really store so much of the photos that we are actually in action. But I'm probably going to take that as the reason why I enjoy what I'm doing, and why I feel that I have been, I like doing that, and I'd probably be doing that for a longer period of time. Regardless if I divert to a different business, I still apply that kind of thinking of you have to love it. You have to love the event part, so that you can you go from one industry to another. So you're kind of like versatile with so many things you can do. you can do as you can actually do the professional part, the serious events, and then you actually do the things that are purely for fun,
Mm-hmm.
and which I'm going to talk about later. And there, so that's how I see myself as uh, the reason why I'm able to empower other people. It's through the events that I
Mm-hmm.
bring and make them experience.
And that's why I'm so inspired by you, because I've seen you wear many hats. You have been doing so many business opportunities, different types of events. At the same time, you're also into managing real estate. Can you tell us about that?
That well, um, this is back in 2017. Since our family is into hospitality business, and then I see the opportunity between home sharing. And when you say home sharing, or more popularly known as Airbnb model, wherein you check in into a property which is individually owned by a person and not run by a hotel. So most here in the Philippines, most of the time, a traveler would like to save a little. We call it DIY, like a do-it-yourself type of traveler. And I see that as an opportunity. And then from one rental to another, and then it turned out to be like a business officially, wherein, but I focus more on properties that are not in Metro Manila. So I acquire or I manage condo properties and houses in Batangas and Tagaytay, or actually right now we're already growing. It's like I'm able to own an inventory with, but not having to invest or having to own this property. And it seems like I'm able to give income, or I'm able to give people who have condos which are not revenuing. Most of the time, these are what you call money pits. Properties that are money pits. They're just there, but they don't make money. Okay, they deteriorate, and if you were the owner, I'll tell you, do you want this condo of yours to get rented, uh, and then every time you still want to use it, you can still go there. So that's actually how our business model is all about. But since your show is more about like inspiring and having positive things in life, if I start talking about work, everyone else will get bored.
No, I know you are such a successful businesswoman, but at the same time, you love giving back. And this is something that you actually introduced to me. So please talk about juniorpreneur.
Okay, the giving back thing. I number one, people. I feel that I owe it to the events aspect. Okay, now juniorpreneur began when the inspiration began with my daughter. She was, if I recall, she was about 5 or 6 during that time, and just like me, she's kind of pretty much exposed um, with work and because I take her along, so she knows that hard work, or I mean success, is not instant. There has to be a certain point wherein you have to learn it, and then you have to practice it, and you have to put dedication and hard work in order for it to succeed. So juniorpreneur empowers or wants Filipino to increase their Filipino kids to increase their financial literacy by teaching them the value of money. Most of the time, our kids nowadays, everything is instant. I mean, look at the way they look at the information, how they get information. They just Google it. They don't even go to the library and try to research anything that they need to know. So basically, what I'm trying to say there is, ang mga bata, their parents have either spoiled them or made it easy for the kids to get whatever they want. Now, with juniorpreneur, wherein we want the kids to learn the value of money, wherein they can also have bonding with their family. And I like that, and I'm a testimonial to itself, because me and my daughter, when I wanted to do juniorpreneur, I asked her first, because I really thought that she would become a good ambassador for it when I did that one. But she was very young by that time. But it was in 5 or 6. Imagine a 5 or 6 person will talk about saving up, and she would know what is a cost and how, what's a cost and what's a profit. And in her language before, she asks me, mommy, so if I sell this at 100 pesos, do I have to sell, if I bought it for 100 pesos, am I supposed to sell it at 100 also? So little concept that you have to explain to her. No, because you woke up early, because you prepared, because you tried to tidy up and tried to sold it to people. You have to pay yourself also. So and I noticed it that when I shared it also with other parents from where she from the preschool class where she belongs before, that the other parents are also experiencing the same things. Because I think us parents, you and I'm sure all the mothers can relate here, that at one point in their motherhood, their kids tried to sold something to them. Like, you want to buy, they'll make cards and then they'll sell it to you. And of course, you'll tell her, okay, how much? You're overpricing everything because you just like your kids to make that money. So with Juniorpreneur, we are on the we're on the 10th year, I suppose. The 10, yes, 9th or 10th. Unfortunately, the one that was supposed to be planned for 2020, as you know, we need to postpone or cancel it for the time being because of our current situation. But it was, but we were already trying to do the pre promotion on the event. Supposedly, that was supposed to be in Kidzania.
Yes.
And so if you put in concept those two purposes of Juniorpreneur and of Kidzania, which is putting children into action while they experience the actual work, and that's for the Kidzania part, and for Juniorpreneur is learning them the importance of why do you need to work, and if you just do work, would you rather just do the work as a career like an employee, or you'd like to be the entrepreneur yourself? And the parents have a very huge participation in molding or convincing their kids to be entrepreneurs in the future. That's my take. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and is Tiffany there? I know she is. Loving the fact that yearly we have this entrepreneur where we can inspire the youth as well as parents. Tiffany, hello there. So I wanted to ask you, why do you like being part of this advocacy that your mom created for you, Juniorpreneur? What is it, the Juniorpreneur?
It helps me with my future since I'm already a teenager. I can make smarter decisions compared when I was younger because Juniorpreneur started. So I don't really remember much.
But we have a lot of photos to show you. You and Nikki have been great ambassadors for Juniorpreneur, because not only have you really inspired the youth, you've encouraged parents to take time to be part of the event. I know during this time earlier, Cherry, you mentioned that there's certain moments that you feel unmotivated, right? So there's something that we equally share, and I see that there's a lot of people also here watching that love a certain Korean star. And can you share what have you been doing that has helped you be, I guess, have happy hormones? And I know both of you have been doing this during this time. Go ahead.
The question of Mafae is actually for both of us. Okay.
Has been bonding with during this time?
Actually, during this lockdown, I mentioned earlier it was a chance to catch up with many things that you don't get to do during the regular days of our lives. And when we were able to catch up, like we're done with the pending work, we're able to clean the entire house already, there was nothing else to do. And believe it or not, the idea of getting into watching K-drama was not even ours. It was even my husband. He started watching it on the first episode, and then he just got interested about the plot of the Chloe. People people more refer it as Chloe, but it's crash landing on you. And thanks to Chloe, Tiffany and I have already. How many boyfriends do you have right now?
12?
12. Okay. So every time she watches a specific K-drama show series, she'd say that, oh, that's my new boyfriend. Oh, mama, I changed my heart. So at the start, she was actually telling me I need to buy merchandise online that would make, because I'm very supportive. You know that I'm very supportive of this person sitting right next to me. So
Of course.
I told her, whatever it is, she Tiffany always asks me, is it okay? Because I try to limit her exposure with social media. Like, what are you checking at? I do it, she has her own phone, but at the very least, you have to monitor what is it that she's looking into or what is she researching about. So, what she does is like, she's more of like my character investigator to all of these actors. Like, she tells me, mommy, this actor, she's that guy is already old. This one is young. So she gets to pick the K drama that would fit her taste. Okay. So she gets to pick what that would fit her taste. So dapat young, dapat the plot is to be in school, right? Like who is it exactly you like? You're imagining what? You're the girl?
No, I don't know. It's blurry.
So
We have to shout out
I don't-
new fans here listening to you right now, Cherry. Lots of Binyans.
yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah,
the Binyans.
right.
There he is.
Yeah.
So what is it about this character or this actor that you guys like the most?
He's not
Okay.
my crush anymore.
Oh, okay. That's go back in your seat. It's not your crush anymore. Actually, let them just to brighten up, or just to even more make this chat of ours more exciting. Thanks to Yoon Bin, he's actually the reason why I think he's the reason why I like watching K drama, because it started with this actor. So I don't I think what I'm experiencing right now is what's popularly called as fangirling. Okay?
Yeah.
So fangirling in the sense that I never expected myself to be calling myself a fan of an international actor, even worse. Okay. but and I don't. Maybe the timing just came in right. That there were a lot of free time during the lockdown season, right? So I didn't have to prepare too much for work or nothing. There was no pending, so I have much time to spend in front of the TV. And if there's anything that I like about fangirling is that everything is positive.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, if I don't get to watch any K-drama for one specific day, I feel sad. You have to. I feel sad. I feel totally incomplete because I didn't get to laugh, or there's this no. I'm unable to feel the kilig na these actors are doing, and I find it hard to believe in the beginning. I was in denial that I am getting the bug. I was in denial of that one. I was getting the bug. In fact, I was kind of like embarrassed to tell it to you, right?
Guys, just a bit of a background. I've known Cherry for almost 20 years. And when this came around, the quarantine would catch up. And then, of course, I started watching Chloe. And then I think we just had a simple conversation. All of a sudden, Cherry was so excited. He called me on the phone, sent me all this music, added me all this fan page. I was like, wow, Cherry, is this the new Cherry? And I love it because this is a girl who is 24/7 working. No new ideas every second of the day. Every time she calls me, it's a new project. It's a new event. And then for her to share her new fangirling with Captain Ree and Korean telenovela made me happy because I knew Cherry needed this breath of fresh air in a way. And I'm glad that she speaks on this about boosting her happy hormones. Is because this is what it's needed right now. And I can see all the fans are here also saying the same thing. You know, Captain Ree came at the right time for all of us, I think. Do you agree, Cherry?
Yeah. I do. I agree. Super. I'm like, I just can't get enough of this actor.
And we have to shout out the Hyun Bin
Right.
fan club.
Yeah.
Those
Actually, when I randomly, it was more of like this at first, because when I finished Chloe, I asked myself, okay, what's next? Because I have no background about it. So when I wanted to find out what's next, so I tried googling what are the other um, series or movies that would be recommended. And I didn't want to waste time going all the research. So what I did a shortcut. I went to a fan club and see which one of those were trending and which was highly recommended. So from there, so I joined in that one. It was pretty much flooding my walls. I had to mute it actually because they were like posting so 24/7 about the shows or the scenes episodes. But since it's my first time to join such, I know, Matt, you are a celebrity yourself, okay, and being a beauty queen yourself, you have followers, and you've been mentoring many beauty queens as well. So when I joined in those groups, there's one thing that I kind of noticed that kind of struck me, or I have to say, I have not experienced it in my entire life, is the camaraderie of all these people who are all strangers to each other. They don't know each other, but when they begin a conversation, it's automatic that everyone agrees, and everyone just have to say something about it, and regardless what are their comments is all about. But if you for me, for that matter, I was just browsing and reading all their comments, and then all of a sudden I just realized that I have been reading it for 2 hours. So what does it tell me? It was mere an entertainment in the beginning, but it became part of my lifestyle. Okay, so
And I can see you
unconsciously.
there's a different glow about you now. So going back, of course, being part of the fan page, it becomes like a family, right? And I can see they're also telling you all their comments. There's one here: join the fan club is the best thing I did during the lockdown. And I know, like Jem, it was the best thing for you. And you added me there too, I think. And yeah, I just love seeing all the photos. I love seeing, of course, their outfits. So if it only was winter here or cold here like it is in Korea, then we can wear things like that. But going back, what else have you? So this is, I guess, your definition of me time during this time.
Yes. The definition of me time, as you say, is like making yourself happy, regardless if other people are teasing me, even if it's really not. I'm actually surprised with myself because, like what I told you, it's also you get to know yourself that, oh, you're capable of doing this. All the while, I thought I only do things that would revenue my office, or things that would add into my learning background. But this one, it was more helping you unusually, unexpectedly, and meeting different people from different walks of life. And I think it's making, as a person, you get something out of that. You get something out of that by mere observing them. And since I am into events, and I'm able to, since I'm into events, I wanted to also share, like with what we always refer as giving back. If I do ever have any knowledge or capability of mounting any special event for the fans club, or giving my tips to them on how to manage properly an organization as a community that you like right now they're a community. They're not really a structure or organization. So they're a community of, and their point of denomination as a same common interest is is their fangirling activities. Now, I like being part with communities, and to even make an example there. In the Philippines, we have this as what we call as craft beer association. Okay, let me. If I was going to jump into that similar model,
Yes.
craft beer association is also a community, because here in the Philippines, as Filipinos, we are only familiar with the commercial or the macro industrial brands like San Miguel, Asia Brewery. These are the beers that we commonly consume, or we get to buy from the stores. But did you know that Filipinos are actually able to create or produce about 360 different types of beer, and and this is art. This is Filipino made, just
Right.
like painting or fashion that we say that proudly made Filipino. Craft beer is also like that. And since they're a community, they don't belong in one organization. It's quite difficult for them to make an awareness to the market that this is actually available in the market. So
Right.
what I do is I empower organizations or community like that. That hey, you have something here. You have. It's like I get attracted with those kind of setting. If I know that you're talented, and if I know you have a very quite promising advocacy, I would offer my help. I would get involved, and I would love to see you be in the mainstream. And God willingly, um, after about 8 months of working with the craft beer, the brewers, we were able to mount it in the casinos. They were able to get the spotlight they deserved through the events that we mounted, and I'm happy seeing that one. So just with the same kind of feeling, I must say that when I joined, let's say, let's go back again to the fangirling or the fans club. It may not. There's no exact fit. But what my point is saying, as long as these people have a common goal, and as long as these people would just go beyond the idea of just fangirling or just making delay and all that, they can actually come up with other causes. And whatever those causes are, they will learn that as they spend time with each other. And when these things happen, it would they would be they would they would be able to touch the lives of other people. Let's say, just imagine if you were just locked down in your place for a month, and you don't have anyone to talk to, etc., etc., and then you go to a fan group, and then with no strings attached, you just tell them your emotions. You'd probably you just don't know that you'd probably healing someone who's desperate, or having problems, making them smile. You don't know that, but I think that's possible. There are so many stories that I heard that they get counseling from strangers.
Wow.
So I've heard of that one, that sometimes people get counseling, or sometimes they get inspired, or the reality kicks into their lives if a stranger talks to them. So if I was going to always if I was going to stick to how I mount events, one of these days, if of course health permitting, we no longer have the pandemic, or we have vaccines available and people are allowed to travel, a fans club or a group of community who have a common interest like that, like idolizing their idol, or idolizing somebody, or pretty much, let's say you have a business also and you want to make merchandise stuff. You are within your ecosystem. You can help and inspire.
Right.
That's what I like about communities, and that's the reason why most of my events are targeting community empowerment.
And then what's perfect about all the Korean telenovelas is that what Melina is saying here is that when we watch them, you're forgetting your problems because it's healing. Because all their storyboards is like it's a love comedy drama like we were talking about the other day, right? Even me, I keep asking you for a list of which to watch next because once you get into one series is like you want to know the next. For me, I really like, okay, I'm gonna watch just one today so I can prolong the episodes because you feel like you're there, right? I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
their things.
The feeling of you need to stock up your list because if you start running out, actually, I
Yeah.
have to. Me and Tiffany are like that. We're like, oh no, it's about to end. We're at episode 14. What's next, mom?
So guys, if you're watching, send Cherry and a list in the comments. Tell us what you've been watching, what you recommend. But I love the fact that at this time, this is what motivates Cherry because I know she needs this kind of relaxation. Because she's nonstop thinking about how to help others and at the same time how to provide for her family. Let's talk about going back to when you were modeling and hosting. This was before having your husband and your daughter now. What were the things that motivated you then when you felt unmotivated to do your work?
Oh, okay. Um, I think in that straight well from college, I went to Thames International Business School. So this is our I was able to do work. We call that right now and even before it's called racket. But that picture you're showing, this is my second degree. This is for my master's. Do you see my husband and my daughter is there already, and my mom and my brother. So I took masters for the ICE. ICE is in Innovative Creative Enterprise. It is a course that is ideal for people in the creative industry, and since um, since I have been in this industry from the very start, which was 19, 20, I started working already. Working in the sense that I was getting bookings for modeling gig or for hosting. During that time, alam mo naman dito sa Pilipinas, if you have a certain accent, you kind of sell more. And way 2000, 2003, about 5 years, I guess, there were not much talents who were Phil Ams or Phil Australian. So you know this that when we try to audition for a gig and when we have an accent, we actually get the job. So it was nice, right? It's like that. So now wala na. I lost my Australian accent now. Ikaw, you still have it because you're really original. So in my case, no, it's only for a while. So when I do the events and the kind of events that we get, since we are able to talk with an accent, these are more for gatherings that have expats or have an international or a foreign crowd. So I think I was a Johnny Walker ambassador for 3 years,
Yes.
and for and the events that I only do were whiskey tasting. So since it was whiskey tasting, I'm able to explain the process and the right appreciation of whiskey. And with that as the kind of project that was assigned to me, I'm able to attend presidential activities because Johnny Walker is a sponsor of Malacanang event, something like that. So you're able to get access from really good events. You get VIP access on concerts. You don't get to pay the concert. You just we are all getting that access for free. So that's one thing I love, and and from being a talent, I I learn. So you're on cam, and then and since my course itself is into public relation, into marketing, I moved into producing my own shows. And since you're already producing your own shows, you're basically investing in those shows, and I partner with other people. And so if those things are if I get to do those things on a regular basis, uh, your network all of a sudden just it's a multiplier. So in one event, say I attended one party, and in this party, all those newspaper publishers, PR, you get to meet them in one night, right? So I can't think of any industry that allows you to meet many other industries in just one evening. I don't know if you agree with me in that one, but that has been my experience when when you're into events, you're able to really you can do food, you can do automobile, you can do travel, you can do mall, retails, brands, and since these things are what makes people get interested about. It's a source of entertainment. We we kind of adopt it in our life.
Yeah.
That we become very sociable also, and I think I have to say that if you're the kind of person, like I said, I was going to give advice to someone who wants to choose a career in the future. If you are the introvert type, and you want to meet people, you have to get an exposure on the in the event sector, because there's no way you cannot meet people, or there's no way you're going to sharpen your socialization better than on the events industry.
And I noticed, you mentioned Thames or Thames. My apologies. And I saw a photo with you and Apple the app. What was that about? Did he go to Thames too?
Okay, so I was mentioning about Apple the App is the main vocal of Black Eyed Peas. It's just a Hollywood International group way back in 2000. Oh, help me out here. Baka the millennials watching, they don't recognize Apple the App anymore. But Apple Black Eyed Peas was a hit, right? As in they were a hit, and so Apple the App is a Filipino, half Filipino from Olongapo, and then dun siya sumikat in Hollywood. But siya he wanted to give back. That was his program too, and he has a partnership with Thames International, because Thames International is actually a school that allows Filipino students to have international or foreign degree. So in my case, I got mine in Australia. So in this case, so since Apple the App wants to give back, he came up with this program called ICE, which is Innovative Creative Enterprise, which empowers or which sharpens or develops Filipino creatives for a foreign market, or preparing them for something like that. And when they made a pilot of students here in the Philippines, I was part of the 10. If I'm not mistaken, there were about like 20 scholars, and I was one of that. So I graduated for that 2018. And when he came, he comes here in the Philippines every so often to visit and for some project. He was an endorser of Coke. I don't know, I forgot the series, but it was last year. Yeah, Coke Studio. There you go. And I think they were they have to coach. Parang diba The Voice? He was a coach there, a judge there. So he needs to. Coke Studio is pang OFW. I think they were attracting OFW to like that program. So with Apple the App, I was being a scholar. I must be able to give back something also. So my program was Juniorpreneur. That was the project. Parang thesis. You have to come up with a thesis, and then you submit it to them, and it has to be a creative background. So you saw in the photo that I have there, it was a poster for Juniorpreneur saying that we are encouraging. So me being a scholar of his foundation, I am able to mount events that would give back to the the society. And there was a special schedule that allows juniorpreneur for impaired children. When you say impaired children, because normally when you talk about becoming a business person, the one of people would always think that you have to have money, or you must have capital in order for you to do this. Little did they know that most when you want, it doesn't follow that when you have disabilities, you are no longer you no longer have a chance of becoming an entrepreneur. What I was telling them is that these disabilities or these impaired children, we wish that we can make these liabilities into an asset. Okay, so let's say you're blind, or you say you don't have, you're unable, you're handicapped, but you can still do business. You can do online, or practically you can harp on your voice or be a singer, even if you have all these things. That was one of the program that we wanted to be included on the next juniorpreneur run. So it's not just about when you entrepreneur, it's automatic. It's rationally correct to say you're an entrepreneur and you sell things. You can be an entrepreneur selling your talents yourself as a service. That's also a way of creating a product lineup or a service lineup, and and that solves the part. I think I am able to answer the part that says that you don't really need money when you want to become a business. But as long as the determination is there and you exactly know where you want to be, that is one of the most important, or should I say, the basic rule in becoming an entrepreneur, because you're the captain of your own ship there. And if you're lazy for today, you'd also be lazy tomorrow. You won't be able to do what you plan to do.
Exactly. Just be motivated and watch a K-drama, I think. At least 5 minutes of it. Right, Chet?
Yeah,
Before we wrap up, do you have a list of K-drama that you have watched or recommend?
Do I have a list, you mean?
Yes. That you can share with us.
Okay, where do I start? Okay, the list about like 30. So let's begin with Captain Reese. Let's begin with Yunbin, because I'm so happy that my fellow Binyans, we call ourselves Binyans. We're like we call ourselves Binyans because we're the followers of Yunbin here in the Philippines. Yes. So I mentioned about this to them, and they warmly accepted my invitation to them to watch this live series of yours, because I told them that I'm also a stranger to them. They don't know me. In fact, most of them only have seen me today. So I was I told them that I'd be talking about this because I like to share my story. Because honestly, Maf, I, like what I told you, I'm the kind of fan who was in denial before, and when I start, because it's not very common for someone who let's say I'm not as young as most of them. I don't want to refer as old. so what I'm practically happy that when I joined in that club, they accepted and they were happy, but I wasn't prepared on how to become my fan, because I don't know how the culture works, I have difficulty trying to, like, I find it an entertainment if I see their comments, but parang nakukornihan ako if it's coming from me. So because I feel you know what I'm saying, like, if you start acting corny, it doesn't fit your persona. So I have to box myself. I have to talk and act properly, because that's me 24/7. And then all of a sudden you want me to loosen up and be on a carefree mode. It's something like what you mentioned earlier. Oh, there's something's up. Why are you so different? So I just transformed in a week. What?
Oh, see,
I
that
just trans-
Bernadette is saying there is no age limit of being a fangirl. Yan Cherry.
yeah, okay.
So going back, what else can you recommend for us to watch, or any other series?
So if you want to stick with Hyun Bin, so that would be the of course Chloe, and then the second one I like was Hijackal and Me, and then
Mhm.
I also uh well Secret Garden, and then but that's for him, okay,
Right.
and then the rest I've also watched his movie Negotiator, and
Mhm.
then Late Autumn, but um of course, Chloe, even if I watch others
Mhm.
as I referred to, like I recommended also to you, Goblin. I like
Mhm.
rom-coms. I like
Mhm.
something that 80% of the time I'm laughing.
Yes.
Okay? I want something like, I don't like crying modes. Because some
Why?
rom-coms,
I cried. Oh my gosh.
why are we going to watch something that will make us cry? You know, it's very simple. If I want to cry, I will just look at the sales report of our office. So the past 2 months, I'll always be crying. Okay, so-
But regardless, you have something to motivate you. So apart from the ones that Cherry just referred just now, I'm sure that you can reach out to her. Like you guys can see, you can follow Cherry on Juniorpreneur and also Pico Travel. We'll also promote her social media accounts here in this caption, so that if you want to reach out and ask for more advice on how she became the successful businesswoman that she is today, as well as what she does during her me time, we can reach out to her at any time. So, Cherry, can you please give your words of wisdom and hope for everyone listening and watching right now, especially at this challenging time?
okay. All right. So for parting words, Math, we all know that we are in this disaster moment. We have so much things that are happening around us that we are all not prepared with, and if we would just keep ourselves on the positive thinking, um, we can surpass that. And the thing we you being healthy at the current time, that is already a blessing. And moving just like the popular saying, this thing too will pass. We have to always remind ourselves that if we are given a chance to improve our lives after this pandemic season, we have to grab that one. Let's not wait for tomorrow to do things that we delay. Example, if you're in a lockdown right now, try to expand your knowledge. Try to learn something new, like learning another language, learning how to bake, or learning how to cook, learn how to play a musical instrument. These things make you a better person. So let's take this time off, since we are in a new normal. Let's take this as an opportunity to grow, rather than a moment of despair, and rather than being in a negative state of mind. It would be better if we're always asking ourselves, how can we improve, or how can we make this as an investment of something in our future. So just like what I always say, try to convert the current liabilities into something that would be an asset for you later. And
Thank you.
by going back, yeah, I hope that both are expiring words. Okay. I promised some of my friends in the fan club
Mm-hmm.
that I told them that my way making them excited is that I like. Do you want to choose? Because I told them it's not really a contest. This is purely for fun, katawaan lang. If any one of them joins and listens, or and at the same, because the only way for us to do this is to check out if who among the if they ever comments.
Uh-huh.
We are. I want to give out a day trip for Pico de Loro. That's a resort in Batangas, and then Punta Fuego. Punta
Mm-hmm.
Fuego. Okay. Well, of course, travel permitting, when we can already go to places, our office will get in touch with them, whoever we get to choose here. and it's a trip that we can take them there, and then it's included with the transport. So the details, it would be given to them. But you and I, we can. How do you want to do this? Because this is really not a contest.
Oh, I did see like a really inspiring comment here from Chia May Chua. She said, I became a fangirl of Yoon Bin when I watched his character in Chloe. From then on, I looked up not only by his perfect visual, but his depth as an actor. How he impacted the world. He has real talent and passion. He has raw and natural talent. He is kind and true. I was swayed by his authenticity as a human. From then on, I still can't go over him and his versatility in everything that he does. He's blessed and he is a blessing to us. So how do you like that, Cherry? Longest comment here.
Yeah, well, I'm biased because I'm a fan, so it should be you.
Okay, so I'll read the comment.
We have let's just for the purpose of making it clear, where I'm giving 2. So if the first person, the first winner, that's good. That's 2 tickets. Meaning, if she gets to win, she can, or he or she can take along a friend together or a family. So they're in pairs. So let's maybe one you can put the criteria. So you can choose if you're basing it from their comment, go ahead. And the second winner, let's do it random. Let's just pick based on no criteria at all. In a sense that wait.
Okay, so there's
I have an idea.
Go.
Sorry. I know because Yoon Bin's birthday is September 25. Okay, so let's pick 25. Do we have 25? Either we pick 9 or 25. Do we have 25 comments? Okay, maybe let's try. Who's the pang 25?
Nico, tell me.
I'll ask someone to.
Okay, someone is going to let me know. But first and foremost, guys, we have to thank Miss Korea, Miss Cherry Saculo-Genato here, for giving us the inspiring words that she did. And, I really am so inspired by her on the person that she is becoming, and she's learning how to relax. And thanks to the fan club. Okay, we have a winner now. Name is Diane Grace Libayo Victoria. Congratulations. You are the Yes, same with me. I also fall in love with Yoon Bin fangirling. Okay, so thanks, Cherry, for that. That's something new that we've done on this series, and I hope that other inspiring guests can be inspired by you on sharing your blessings. With that, take home from Cherry is always know your passion, keep educating yourself, have me time, know that you can relax and be, just putting your feet up in times like this. Be hopeful for the future because there's still doors to open for everyone. So with that, guys, actions speak louder than words. And thank you for tuning in this episode of In Love With Me. Thanks, Chair. See you in K-drama.
I'm late.
Thank you for watching In Love With Me series.